Right now, you're listening to the Azim Digital Asks podcast, the podcast where I talk to some of the top marketers in the industry and find out what makes them tick. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Azim Digital Asks podcast. I've got a great guest with me today who I'll give a very short introduction on. She is the awesome Anu Adegbola. She has got tons and tons of experience in the industry while still managing to look like 21. So I'll be asking her secrets about that. A regular conference speaker, founded her own company, and she's got something big on the horizon, which I'll let her share about. So yeah, Anu, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Azim. Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited to be here, just joining you. Love doing this kind of things.
Glad to have you. Before you do a proper introduction about yourself, we're going to have a little bit of an icebreaker question. And that one is, you've got the chance to have dinner with any three celebrities. Who are they and why?
oh, that's a difficult question. I'll go for like a childhood crush because I've got to. If I've got the opportunity, why not Ryan Reynolds? Reynolds, and I've loved all his stuff in terms of the comedy stuff he's done at the beginning of his career. Now he's an action hero, and yeah, I love Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, definitely him on my seat. Idris Elba is also a very nice, lovely actor that I feel like I'd love to have him sitting on the table with me, having dinner with him. Um, who else? Viola Davis, who is like a black actress who I think she's done amazing things for black female representation and doing it with a lot of dignity and flair, and her Afrocentric self being still the forefront of everything she does. So yeah, those are my top three.
Awesome. That is definitely one episode of something like Come Dine With Me. I would love to watch just you
Yeah,
and those three
yeah.
having a chat.
Yeah, yeah, it will not be. I'll be quiet. I'm most of that. I just want to hear them talk. That's fair. That'll be a change. Mm.
So yeah, welcome to the podcast. Would you like to give the listeners a bit of an introduction to yourself?
Sure. So yeah, my background has been like specifically like digital, and when I started in the industry though, like over 10 years ago, I think it's coming to like maybe 12, 13 years now. I started with SEO, and this was at a time where SEO was mainly more about, websites calling other website administrators because you want to put a link so that, it's basically link building, but old school way, like salesy kind of way, which I really didn't like at all. So that after like 6 months of that, I was like, nope, I'm bored of this. And then, yeah, when I was like looking at my other options, I happened to being in an interview for a PPC role, and they were like, "Oh, do you like Excel?" And I was like, "Do I?" Like seriously. I mean, I think really Microsoft Excel is one of the main reasons why I got into PPC. Got really excited about that question, and yeah, that's the journey of it so far. I've been trying to make sure I do everything, all my reporting in Excel, all like analysis in Excel, and yeah, anything I can do in Excel, I try my best too. So yeah, it's been a nice journey of moving from agency and client side. I started off with agencies with few well knowns like Visium, at the beginning, like Altogether Digital, and they are part of the W Group now, and I like the likes of Stake Digital as well, and some others that I can't remember off the top of my head. I then went to the client side with a B2B company called Premier Farnell that do like their global company, and they have markets in the UK, US, Asia, and all over the world. And I started off with managing like their smaller accounts, like the Netherlands accounts, Spanish accounts. When they saw what I could bring to it, they put me on their biggest account, the UK account, and then even asked me to help with the US account because the guy that was managing the US account was not doing a great job. So yeah, I've had done both sides. After 2.5 years, they wanted to move to close down the London office and move everything to the Leeds office. I had no interest in moving to Leeds at that point in my life. I don't think that will ever happen, really, even. So yeah, I moved on from that. Worked with Zoopla, the one of the biggest property companies and doing some very nice innovative stuff there as well by using inventory management to actually like manage, property sales. So it was really nice way of doing things in a very automated way of, creating ad groups and keywords based on availability, location, properties available in an area. So yeah, it was very, very nice stuff that I was working on then. It was not just PPC. I was mainly like paid search. I was managing. It was also like the mobile and display and social media. So like paid media on that side. And yeah, so after when I then came to Zoopla, I met a guy, and I must mention this guy who's not quite PPC, Lucas Zelezny. You probably know of him. He's big in the
Yeah.
SEO world, and he was the one that was like said like, and he's like, start your own brand. I feel like you've got stuff to say about PPC on your own, by your own merits. And I'm like, what, that's true. It'd be nice to have something that's just my thing. So that's how I came up with like the name Mind Swan. And I was like, you know what, it would be nice to actually do things more on a freelance basis, contracting basis, and bring that, have that freedom of bringing my own knowledge and not necessarily working with some very strict ways of doing things that some companies can have, which can be quite limiting. So yeah, that's how I got into the freelancing world in 2017. Worked for the likes of OMD, Essence, MediaCom, and yeah, I've actually had some of my most rewarding experiences there of leading teams, making lead teams flourish in their own right, and being able to leave them in a space where they can like stand on their own, and then moving on to things. And then yeah, I don't know if now is the time we want to mention like the big things happening on the horizon, or do we want to leave that?
Yeah, we'll
Because
keep that in the bank. I want
yeah,
people to listen to the entire episode.
sure, exactly, right. So, yeah, so I brought you from my beginning of my career to what's happening present day. So yeah, freelancing and helping clients, push things ahead with push their ROIs ahead with trying to still doing things with reporting in Excel and automation. Especially automation has been a big part of pushing performance with clients, because especially with huge accounts, it's all about being able to do more in less time. And I feel like AdWords scripts, I've really loved getting on board with that years ago, and yeah, it's what I always implement as soon as I join a company.
Great stuff. So, what a career! And it's only going to improve and get even better when you announce your big news later on. When did you realize that marketing was going to be the career for you?
Um, I'm not sure. In some ways, I'm not sure I've ever had a eureka moment about this. Every once in a while, I to be fair, I am one of those people that I think I really fell into it. I came out with a degree of computer science with business management, because in my first year I'd gone into to uni doing computer science, wanting to do inverted commas to do computer science. Wasn't exactly sure what computer science was at that stage in my life. When I realized it was programming, I was like, oh god, I do not have patience for programming. So after a year, I dropped half of it and brought on business management to it. So brought those two parts of my life into it. And yeah, when I graduated, it was a bit of a frustrating, what do I do with my life moment. Applied for everywhere, and I felt like the barriers of entry into the marketing and digital world were a lot lower than other industries. So I was like, okay, let's try, let's give advertising a shot. And it's always just been loving what I'm doing in the moment. And it's taken me a while for me to, and I feel like I still am, I'm still trying to put the big picture together of where I see myself in, as a role in a career. I know that I do want to be the kind of person that is in charge of controlling change and implementing the best practices and being an influencer in the world. And but yeah, and I felt like, yeah, marketing and at the community as well, especially our PPC chat community, has really helped me just feel like, okay, I can still learn, I can still push the barrier, I still have a voice. um and in terms of like knowing specifically where that marketing has been the career for me, you know, it's the career for me for now, because it's working out really well, and I've got an amazing community around me. But I'm one of those people that it's like it's never too late. Who knows? In 10 years' time, I might decide to be an actress. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I feel like it's working out great for me. There are great opportunities right here, right now, and I see growth happening. So I'm like, why not follow that growth? So yeah, it's daily discoveries and daily influences of from the outside world, from the community, that I'm in the right place.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a gap in the market for a film, Hollywood film
Yeah.
about PPC. So
Right. Yeah. Watch that. Like, seriously,
you could talk to Ryan Reynolds about becoming like a PPC superhero.
that's hilarious.
But yeah, so thinking back about that, if you were able to go back and visit yourself to when you very first started out in the industry, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself?
My biggest advice, and it's something that I have had to sit in, and it's even something that I might have touched on a little bit in my previous answer, is the fact of, don't be scared about being unsure. I think, we start off and it's just like we're unsure, and it can paralyze us into inaction, when we're not sure of something, and it can just get us very frustrated and upset, and we look around us and we feel like everybody else has they're they figure things out, and they're going for the stuff that is their passion, and they're passionate about it, and they're just flying, moving on. So I think my biggest advice would be, in a way, part one and two of it would be like, don't be scared about, just not being 100% sure what you're doing. Um, and also, yeah, don't compare yourself with people. As a famous phrase that goes, slay in your lane. Like, literally do what you're doing well in your lane, and even if you're not unsure, just keep trying until you can figure things out, and keep trying to analyze what you enjoy about what you're doing. And yeah, just, yeah, keep doing, try to keep on doing the things you enjoy most about your job, try to do more of it. I don't know whether that was three advices, but yeah, that's my advice for.
It all counts.
Yeah.
It all counts. Good stuff. So you mentioned earlier on about setting up MindSwan and everything that involved running that business.
Mm.
What's the biggest challenge that you've got right now with MindSwan? How are you overcoming it?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the biggest challenge with Mind Swan is it can be a lonely road. And you can find that some of the ideas you have in your head, you know, you're the only one that can see the validity of it. And I'm actually one person that does see the value, the high value in community and doing things with people. And there are some things I have not ventured into because it's literally been like, I'm going to be alone on this road, and I'm going to be alone on working on this and having time to do this. And so those kind of ideas have kind of fallen by the wayside. And yeah, whenever you start up anything, and most other entrepreneurs will attest to, it's that beginning journey is, it's just you for a while. It's just you. You've got that passion, you've got that idea. Unless it was like a co-idea, like three people came up with the idea. When it's one person coming up
Yeah.
with the idea, it's you pushing it. So it can be a lonely road. And how I try to overcome those challenges, thankfully, especially over the past like few years, I have made a conscious effort to keep connected with the people that I have met on my different contracting roles, and even when I've moved on from those companies, still staying in touch, still making sure that I'm helping them with their projects, so that I can be like, do the whole cheeky, so I'm thinking of doing this, can you help me with it, can you be my partner in helping with me with things. So I have, like I'll say, about two, three amazing people that I've met in the industry. A guy who's younger than me is one of another person, two ladies who have been my managers in the past, who are just who I call my brain trust. That's how I call it. They're like, so when I'm thinking of ideas about Mindson, or when I'm moving on to like a next project, they are the three numbers I call speed. They're on speed dial, and I'm like, what I'm thinking of doing. What do you think? How do I get this? And literally, and they give me like, amazing ideas. And so it's almost like me creating my own team. It's like my own own Mind Swan. team of people that are always feeding me with information, and they've been amazing. And I would not have gotten this far without them, 100%.
Brilliant stuff. I'm sure they'll be very thankful when they hear this.
Oh, bless them. Yeah, they know. They know. Most of it, they know.
It wouldn't be a lockdown podcast if I didn't mention COVID.
Yes.
So I'm gonna it's got to be done. I'm asking every guest.
Yes.
So yeah, how, thinking in a professional sense, of course,
Hmm.
how has COVID-19 affected you, and how have you responded to it?
So I am one of those amazingly privileged people where I feel COVID has not, like a professional way, has actually I have seen some of the greatest successes of my career, of my swan's journey during COVID. It's such a weird thing to say, and it's one of those things I almost don't like mentioning, because a lot of people
Yeah,
are struggling, and saying, oh, we're losing clients, this is happening, we've had to have a pay cut. um, I've not had to take any pay cuts. I have not needed to cut any of my hours. In fact, I've been my worst own enemy, but particularly because I've just gone, okay, I can work. I'm at home. Nobody can go out. Let's keep working. So I've just been working, 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 not taking much time off, not taking much holidays, and to the point where, like, because it's been there, the work has been there, it has been needed. The industry I was working in just as COVID hit, COVID was a time for them where they already had a big online presence, and so an online activity was big for them. So once everybody was at home, their online activity increased, so they actually needed more help to manage that online activity. So it's been busy for me. It's been a busy time for me, and thankfully I'm very privileged that I bought a house like just at the end of last year that has a garden, so I've had options in terms of where my work position is. I could sit in the house, I could sit in the garden,
yeah.
for work. So yeah, COVID has not hit me, I'd say, negatively in any way during this time, and I'm very grateful for that, and it's been such a privilege.
So it sounds like it's been very successful for you.
Yeah.
Let's flip that on its head, and
Hmm.
then let's talk about failures, professional failures.
Sure.
What's been the biggest one for you in the last 12 months, and why do you think it happened?
Now that's a weird one, because honestly, I don't see failures as a bad thing, and I don't see failures as, failures is part of the journey. So I don't think I've ever failed in anything. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm still on the journey. I've not made, thankfully, a big, you know, boo boo, like, or not, like, of dissing like a big manager who could have hired me for a role, or being fired from a role, that kind of stuff. It's been I've been very fortunate on the journey. There have been experiences that I've not enjoyed, where I felt like I've built a team up to a certain level, and but at the end of it, it was met with a lot of, I feel, ingratitude, and just shoving me out of the door. Um, and so those kind of experiences have left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, and made me, it's been a learning experience, and but the thing is that I'll never regret that experience, because it teaches you something. It teaches you something. So if everything can teach you something, in my opinion, it's not a failure. It's just, you know, learn from that. So I, although I do want to give you like straightforward answer, I feel like I'm waffling right now about
no, no, no.
like a like proper straightforward answer, something that I've failed. I mean, for me, we're going to say like a big mistake I've made in the industry. I have been the person that has done that stupid mistake where on competitive keywords, instead of making the CPC 20p, I made it £20. So we spent a lot more than we should have on the competitive space. And yeah, that was not that. Yeah, my manager did not like that, and it was, unfortunately, it was at a time where I'd already handed in my notice, so it looked like if I was just being lazy and lazy, and I was like, I really wasn't. That was just an honest mistake. I put it at £20 instead of 20
Yeah,
20p, and but the thing is that thankfully we were going through at a time where that account was underspending, so me actually increasing it for short term allowed it to spend more and hit some of our spend targets. So it actually then worked out in the end. I mean, obviously we didn't keep it at £20, but for a short term, we are actually able to explain it in a positive way to the client. And yeah, we still kept the client, and that worked out well. So yeah, I'd say that that's been something. So, but again, it teaches you about attention to details, that kind of stuff. It teaches more to be more attentive with what you do with CPCs. And I always say that these kind of things, failures, mistakes, it's all about what you learn from it. And if you learn from it, it wasn't a failure.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more there. And just to share something that I've done, given that you've
Mm,
shared something that you have done,
please do.
I can't remember the exact context, but I had a script running in a Google account
Mm,
many years ago where it was just raising the CPC to get to a specific level in the
sure.
SERP. But when I installed the script, I forgot to include in the conditions a ceiling. So that's the most important thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
hit a limit. I forgot to include that. Left it running and didn't notice until about a few weeks after when Costa just spiraled from a £6 CPC, which was about average for the account, to like nearly 70. And I
Oh
thought, oh, yeah,
wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah.
that's a PPC lesson.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. Always put in the ceiling. Always put in the ceiling. How did the client react to that? And how did you come back from that?
Luckily, I noticed it. I spoke to the Google rep and I was like, this has happened. I need to control the spend for the rest of the month now because cost per conversion is going to take a hit. It's on me.
Yeah.
Explained it to the client, told them what happened. Luckily, they were okay with it and they were,
Mm.
receptive to the fact that mistakes happen. And I
Yeah.
almost guaranteed that, we will achieve your cost per conversion that you wanted us to get. Luckily, I managed to better it, which was good.
And I think that's a big lesson. Be the one that notices it and come with a
Yeah.
solution to the client. That way they understand that okay, mistakes happen. You're coming with a solution. You're not just coming with, oh yeah, this has gone wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. Like literally, they want you to just go, this has gone wrong. This is our solution. This is how we're gonna fix it. And I think you can always really get away with that.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Perfect answer. And a nice, perfect way to talk about success. I think now's a really good time where you can share your very good news for those that don't know.
Yeah, so like a couple of months ago, has it come into a couple of months ago? I got a very lovely message from my friend at Brain Labs, Daniel Gilbert. I've known him for years but since like 2013 kind of thing. We met on the conference circuit. I believe it was when Hero Conference came to the UK, one of the first times it did. um or was it a Brighton SEO? One of them, one of the big ones. We were there, and it was just a chat. It wasn't them selling anything. It wasn't them going, oh, we're Brain Lab, we do automation, blah blah blah. And this was when I was working at my company called Premier Farnell, the B2B company, the global stuff. Like they had like 800,000 products, so they needed a lot of work and a big team. And so yeah, they did mention that they're into automation. That was what they were big on then and now. And I was like, yeah, you guys need to come and talk to my people. And so I made a meeting. Anyway, fast forward 7 years, we're still keeping in touch. We're still, following each other's careers. He's also someone that he's helped me talk at conferences, put content together for automation conferences. Um, and yeah, so a couple of months ago, he gave me a call saying that Anu, we have a position open, and I know you love Brain Labs. I know you will be following us, and yeah, it's a CMO role, and you're the only one I've thought to call about this. And I was like, wait, what? I literally was like, are you sure you called the right number? I literally, you sure this is the right person that you sent this message to? And yeah, so we had a chat. I presented him some ideas, and yeah, he's offered me the role as CMO, the global CMO, for not just Brain Labs, but Distilled moving on to Brain Labs, and Hannah there's also moving on to Brain Labs. So yeah, it's exciting times, and I'm going to be the CMO for Brain Labs.
Well, let me be one of the first to say congratulations.
Thank
You are
you.
going to be awesome in that role. Everything that I've seen that you've shared, the content that you put out, and just generally what you do for the industry as a whole makes you, Daniel, Brain Labs, a perfect fit. They do great work. You do
Yeah.
great work. It's a no-brainer, really. So
Oh,
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next for you. And speaking of which, well, let's talk about it. What are you most looking forward to when you start?
being on the inside of Brain Labs, I've seen a lot of stuff. There's so much you can know about a company, no matter how much you follow them. On the outside. And a big thing I've loved their brand. I remember telling like Daniel at some point that I was at a bar in like Covent Garden and I saw someone wearing the Brain Labs hoodie jumper, and I almost like kind of tapped him on his shoulder, going, "Ah, I know your people." Like literally, but I was like, "Anu, don't be that crazy person. Hold that." I have genuinely loved the brand, seeing them grow, and it's just always been like amazing thing that I've always been cheering them on from the beginning. But then there's so much you can know from that side. Obviously, there are things that are company secrets. There's some things that Daniel will never share to anybody that doesn't is not within the company. And I'm excited to be on the other side of that to actually see, what has been the thought processes for all the different amazing decisions that he's made in terms of the different hires that he's made, the different brands he's brought on as part of the Brain Labs brand, Brain Labs Trust, and also what his plans are for the future. And because I'm a big believer that you need to know the company that you join. You need to know what's the owner, the person that started it, what their plans are, and actually making that sure it's in line with what you believe that a company should be pushing through. And I think that's what I've been searching for most of my career, for to work with not just a company but with someone to build something amazing. um
Yeah.
so yeah, to just be on that inside track of Daniel's brain, of like what has been his thought processes for Brain Lab so far, and what it is for the future, and how I can help make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. I was literally just going to mention his brain is something like I would love to just tap into and
Yeah,
see what makes him tick. In fact, if you're listening, which you probably will be, Daniel, I'd love to get you on the podcast just so I can dig
yeah,
into your brain a little bit more,
I'll definitely let you know. I'll pass that on.
pull some strings. But yeah, so I've got a vision. I've got a vision in my head, and don't change it, and don't tell me that it's not true. But Daniel's a great guy. Met him before, seen him at Hero Conf when he was wearing a Superman costume. Had lunch with him.
Oh, I missed that one. I hate that I missed that one.
My vision is when you two met and you talked about the role, that he was sitting across the table from you in a Superman costume saying, "Do you want to be part do you want to be
You're
part
the
of this
Wonder
great
Woman.
company?"
You want to be the Wonder Woman here? I don't know. Yeah, no. I think he was in a normal outfit. He was casual at that point.
That's how the meeting played out in my head. So yeah, but yeah, awesome. And as I mentioned, look, best of luck with it.
Thank
I
you.
know you'll be great. I know that you're both a great fit for each other. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next. Sadly, we're nearly at the end of the podcast, which is a shame. A lot of
Mhm.
fun recording this one. One thing I'm asking every guest, I'm probably going to curate a playlist, as I've mentioned in the previous episode. Picture yourself at Brain Labs, deep in Microsoft Excel, 4,000 rows deep, maximum productivity. What is your go-to song, artist, playlist? What's in your ears?
Oh, that's a good. I'm a very musical person, and it just depends on my mood. But yeah, when thinking about it, there is a playlist that came to mind. The forefront. It's there's these a group called Dire Straits, and the leader Mark Knopfler, and they came up with this like amazing. They'd done a live show in and the O2 ages ago, and they did an album around it. And whenever I listen to that album, there's just something very. It's an amazing music, but it's not distracting as well at all. And that's what for me,
Yeah.
because I'm a musical person, like, when good music comes on, I can just get, I'll get distracted from work, and I just need to like jam with the music. So for work, it needs to be something that's not going to be distracting, that's not going to pull me away from work, but it just keeps motivating me to work. And so yes, Alchemy album, Dire Straits Live. I think it's an amazing album. The amazing guitar solos all over the place in there, and yeah, it's I think it's an amazing album. And whenever I just want to focus on work, I don't want to be too quiet. I plug in that album.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. So yeah, sadly we're at the end of the podcast. Thank you for being a brilliant guest. Had a lot of fun recording this one, a lot of laughs, and I'm pretty sure that the audience will love this too. If people would like to get in touch with you, want to contact you, where can they find you and how can they do
Oh, I'm all over the place. So find me on LinkedIn, type in my name, Anu Adegbola. I'm on Twitter as well. My main like PPC voice is Minds One PPC. Or if you just want to hear me prattle on about random things, I also have my personal handle Anu Excels, as in EXCELS. Yes, I love Excel, so that was on purpose. Yeah, there's we have got an Instagram page. The podcast I actually produce every week has its own Instagram page of PPC chat underscore Twitter underscore roundup. It's not just pictures and quotes I put there. I actually do like snippets, like sound clips, like snippets of the podcast, so you can hear a little bit of some of the advices like our amazing experts, including Azim, has given us in the past. But there's also Mind Swan PPC. That one's not too active, so I'm actually pushing people on Instagram. Go to PPC chat underscore Twitter underscore roundup for that one. That one is
that?
more active and more updated. Um, what platform have I not mentioned? Yeah, well, Facebook as well. We have our page there, Minus One PPC. There's a group, PPC Chat Twitter Roundup. So join us on there as well. Um, and yeah, just search my name for stuff. I Google my name very randomly, and there's loads of
Yeah.
my things that come up. So if you just Google my name, you'll see a lot of the things that I've done. I think we could be here for another half hour if I try to mention sources you can find me on. So yeah, go on Google as well. That's a platform. So yeah, find me there.
Brilliant. Once again, thank you very much for being a great guest. And I will let you have the last word on this podcast.
Last word. I'm just really grateful as to how far my career has come. Now I'm very very excited for the future. I'm having a nice little break here where my freelance client. I'm only working 4 hours a day, so it's a nice little break before the pace really quickens. In September, so September 7th is when I'm starting working on amazing stuff with Brain Labs. But yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunities, grateful for my community, grateful for my brain trust, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you for listening to me.
So that was another great episode in the bag. I'm really enjoying hearing from some of the top names in this industry, and I hope that you are too. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, like, share and subscribe. You can find out more about the podcast on the Twitter page at AzimDigiAsks, all one word, and also on my website, which is iamazimdigital.com. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, you can get in touch with me via my website. And that's it from me. Looking forward to the next episode already. Take care.